Hello friends, what if your birth chart came with a leadership manual, would you read it? Today we're asking a spicy question: which zodiac signs are born leaders, and which prefer to power things from behind the scenes? And more importantly, what does leadership actually look like for each sign? Because spoilers, every sign can lead, just not in the same way. Ready to find your style? Let's set the stage with a simple truth. As John C. Maxwell put it, leadership is influence. Not volume, not job titles, influence. With that in mind, let's move sign by sign: who grabs the wheel, who writes the map, and who fuels the engine when everyone else stalls. Aries, March 21st to April 19th. Leader level, high, the pioneer. Aries carries the energy of pure initiation. As the very first sign of the zodiac, Aries represents the raw spark of leadership that hasn't yet been filtered through caution, doubt, or hesitation. This fiery, cardinal sign thrives when stepping into uncharted territory, where others might freeze or wait for permission. Leadership for Aries is less about long meetings and careful analysis, and more about action in the present moment, movement that inspires others to move, too. Aries' energy is magnetic because it's bold, daring, and impossible to ignore. When someone has the courage to say, "I'll go first," it breaks the invisible barrier that holds groups back. That's what makes Aries such a natural pioneer. Their leadership is most visible in moments of crisis, when the clock is ticking and there's no time for second guessing. While others are still outlining possible strategies, Aries has already chosen a path, taken the first steps, and made it safer for everyone else to follow. This kind of pioneering spirit explains why Aries often ends up as the spark plug of any team. They set the tempo, light the fire, and inspire people to believe that action itself is more valuable than perfection. Why? Aries is cardinal fire. They're built to start things, charge first, and ask questions mid-sprint. The essence of cardinal fire is ignition. Aries doesn't wait for conditions to be perfect or for universal approval. They instinctively sense that beginnings themselves create opportunities. Imagine a racetrack. Everyone else is at the starting line, checking their shoes, adjusting their watches, waiting for the signal. Aries doesn't wait, they run. And in running, they create the race. This is why Aries often ends up in leadership roles, even if they didn't plan to be there. People follow motion, and Aries is already moving. Charging first is not arrogance, it's instinct. Asking questions mid-sprint is not recklessness, it's flexibility. Aries knows that answers appear once you're in the arena, not before. Who else volunteers before the meeting even starts? Aries doesn't just raise their hand, they've already walked to the front of the room, picked up the marker, and written their name at the top of the project chart. In a world where hesitation is common, Aries' ability to leap becomes their greatest strength. Signature move, courage. When others hesitate, Aries moves, and movement creates momentum. The Aries brand of courage is not about being fearless, it's about acting in spite of fear. This subtle distinction is what makes them effective leaders. They know fear is natural, but they also know fear doesn't get to drive the bus. Aries' courage is contagious. When one person pushes past their limits, the whole team feels braver. Movement is the keyword here. Leadership is often about breaking inertia. Imagine a group project where everyone is stuck in planning mode. Aries doesn't wait, they propose a draft, create the first slide, or sketch the prototype. Suddenly, the team is no longer debating, they're reacting, building, improving. Momentum is born, and that momentum wouldn't exist without Aries' willingness to risk going first. Their leadership doesn't always come from polished speeches or careful politics. Instead, it comes from example. Aries shows others that bravery is a choice available in every moment. Blind spot, impatience. Not every path is a shortcut, and not every team loves a sprint. Aries' fire burns hot and fast, which can make them brilliant starters but sometimes restless finishers. Their inner voice often says, "Why isn't everyone moving at my speed?" That impatience can lead to frustration, conflict, or even burnout, for them and for the people they lead. A project that requires steady, step-by-step progress may feel painfully slow for Aries. They may push too hard, expecting everyone to share their urgency, only to discover that not everyone is wired that way. The Aries blind spot isn't laziness or lack of vision, it's the assumption that everyone else should run at the same pace. In reality, teams need balance, sprint energy from Aries, marathon endurance from others. Without recognizing this blind spot, Aries risks being seen as reckless or dismissive, when in fact their impatience is simply the shadow side of their drive. How Aries wins: set the pace, then share the race. Delegate, count to 5 before reacting, and celebrate small wins to keep the group with you. Aries succeeds most when they learn that leadership is not about running ahead alone, it's about running in a way that others can follow. Setting the pace is their gift, sharing the race is their growth edge. Delegation allows Aries to keep momentum high without burning out or micromanaging. The count to 5 trick helps Aries manage impulsive reactions, those moments when frustration could damage trust. And celebrating small wins is their secret weapon. It slows down their natural rush forward, while giving the team the encouragement they crave. By channeling their energy into inspiration instead of impatience, Aries becomes the ultimate pioneer, not just blazing trails, but bringing others along for the journey. Taurus, April 20th to May 20th. Leader level, medium, the stabilizer. Taurus brings a very different kind of leadership to the table: slow, steady, grounded, and enduring. If Aries is the spark, Taurus is the steady flame that keeps burning when others have already burned out. Leadership for Taurus isn't about dramatic gestures or bold speeches. It's about reliability, consistency, and building foundations that last. They may not be the loudest voice in the room, but they are often the voice people trust most. Why? Because Taurus demonstrates, over and over again, that they can be counted on. This earth sign leads not by pushing others to act faster, but by calming the storm and showing that stability itself is a form of power. When chaos swirls, Taurus plants their feet and refuses to be moved. That presence is magnetic. People follow those who make them feel safe, and Taurus provides that sense of security better than almost any other sign. Their leadership may not always look flashy, but it endures, like a solid bridge that holds up under any weight. Why? Taurus is fixed earth. They don't just build, they maintain. To understand Taurus leadership, picture a mountain. It rises steadily, immovable, unshaken by the winds of change. Taurus energy is fixed, meaning it resists unnecessary movement, and earth, meaning it is practical, tangible, and grounded in reality. While Aries charges into the unknown, Taurus waits, observes, and ensures that when action is taken, it's worth the effort. They build not for today but for tomorrow, next year, and the decade ahead. This fixed earth quality explains why Taurus is often entrusted with leadership roles that require trustworthiness over time. They won't abandon the project halfway through. They won't chase shiny distractions. They will do the work, brick by brick, until the structure is solid. When the world wobbles, Taurus becomes the rock, the stabilizing force that others lean on. And yes, consistency is absolutely a leadership superpower. When people know you will always show up, keep your word, and honor commitments, they are far more willing to follow your lead. Signature move, reliability. If Taurus says yes, it's as good as done, properly, and on time. This is their greatest leadership asset. Reliability is underrated in a culture obsessed with speed and innovation, yet it is the backbone of every successful endeavor. Taurus leadership shines in environments where trust and follow-through are essential. Colleagues and team members quickly learn that when Taurus commits, they deliver, not hastily, but with thoroughness and care. This reliability builds credibility, and credibility is the currency of leadership. Taurus rarely promises more than they can give, but when they do promise, they keep it. That steady reliability inspires loyalty. People don't just follow Taurus because they're competent, they follow because they feel safe in their hands. That safety, in turn, empowers others to take risks, knowing Taurus is the anchor holding everything steady. Blind spot, resistance to change. If it ain't broke, can become, now it is. The Taurus shadow is stubbornness. Their fixed earth nature makes them reluctant to let go of what works, even when the environment shifts and demands adaptation. This resistance often stems from good intentions. Taurus doesn't want to disrupt what's stable, what's reliable, what has been carefully built. But leadership requires flexibility. If Taurus clings too tightly to tradition or refuses to explore new methods, they risk being left behind, or worse, holding others back. In fast-moving industries, this can make Taurus appear outdated or overly cautious. The blind spot here isn't laziness, it's attachment. Taurus values what they've built so highly that they may struggle to see when it's time to pivot. This can frustrate faster-moving colleagues, who see opportunity passing by while Taurus insists, "We're fine as we are." How Taurus wins: lead with calm, but schedule review points to pivot when needed. Your steady hand plus flexible mind equals trust without stagnation. Taurus leadership flourishes when it embraces a rhythm of reflection. By intentionally scheduling times to review systems, strategies, and results, Taurus ensures that change happens in a measured, thoughtful way, without sacrificing stability. This approach allows Taurus to keep their core strength steadiness while integrating adaptability. Leading with calm is their gift. When others panic, Taurus steadies the wheel. But by adding structured flexibility, they evolve from simply maintaining stability to actively guiding growth. When Taurus pairs their reliability with openness to change, they embody leadership that is both safe and dynamic. They become the rock that not only stands firm but also wisely adjusts to the shifting river around it. Gemini, May 21st to June 20th. Leader level, medium, the connector. Gemini approaches leadership with a uniquely social, dynamic, and intellectual flavor. While they may not always want the heavy mantle of being in charge, in the traditional sense, they naturally end up leading conversations, creating networks, and generating energy that binds people together. Their leadership is not hierarchical, it's horizontal, built on communication, connection, and curiosity. Gemini shines in environments that are fluid and idea-driven, where agility matters more than rigid control. Instead of commanding a team to follow orders, Gemini inspires them to collaborate, share, and innovate. They lead by sparking dialogue and by being the bridge between individuals who might otherwise never connect. This makes Gemini an invaluable presence in group dynamics, because they can diffuse tension with humor, clarify misunderstandings with words, and keep momentum alive by introducing fresh perspectives. Leadership for Gemini isn't about dominance. It's about weaving threads into a tapestry of shared understanding, keeping energy light while making sure everyone has a voice. Why? Gemini is mutable air. They broker ideas, bridge teams, and ask the questions no one thought to ask. In astrology, mutable signs adapt, adjust, and flex, and air signs represent communication, intellect, and social exchange. This combination makes Gemini incredibly adept at reading a room, shifting tone when needed, and reframing issues so that others can see them from a new angle. Where a fire sign may charge, or an earth sign may dig in, Gemini instead moves like air, subtle but pervasive. Their mutability means they can adapt their leadership style on the fly, speaking differently to different groups without losing authenticity. They're the translators of the Zodiac, able to take jargon-heavy concepts and put them into everyday language, or flip complex strategies into a single memorable phrase. Who translates in a noisy world? Gemini does, because they are comfortable asking the obvious questions, the ones that cut through assumptions. By asking what no one else dared to, they often uncover the missing link that transforms confusion into clarity. That's why Gemini so often finds themselves in positions of influence. They are the connective tissue, the thread weaving many voices into one conversation. Signature move, communication. They turn chaos into a conversation and confusion into clarity. For Gemini, words are not just tools. They are weapons, shields, bridges, and sometimes works of art. Their gift is the ability to take scattered ideas and arrange them into something coherent, engaging, and persuasive. When a team is overwhelmed by too many directions or conflicting viewpoints, Gemini steps in to summarize, reframe, and redirect. Their communication skills are agile. They know when to crack a joke to lighten tension, when to ask a tough question to reveal a blind spot, and when to simply listen to someone who feels unheard. Leadership through communication might sound subtle, but it's powerful. the person who controls the narrative often controls the group. Gemini understands this intuitively, and they wield their words with charm and wit. They're the ones who can rally a demoralized group with a pep talk, or smooth over a conflict with a well-timed joke. Their natural curiosity fuels this skill, because they truly want to understand perspectives, which makes their communication more authentic and less manipulative. Blind spot, scattered focus. 10 open tabs, 1 exhausted team. The challenge for Gemini leadership is that their mind never stops. Ideas flow so quickly that they may commit to too many at once, leaving projects half-finished or teams confused about priorities. Gemini's enthusiasm can unintentionally create chaos. They may launch 3 new initiatives in a meeting, only to lose interest in 2 of them by the end of the week. This scattered energy can exhaust teams who crave direction and consistency. The Gemini blind spot isn't a lack of creativity, it's too much creativity without structure. Their minds move at lightning speed, but not everyone can, or wants to, keep up. What feels like excitement to Gemini can feel like whiplash to colleagues. And because Gemini dislikes boredom, they sometimes abandon steady progress in favor of chasing the next shiny idea. Left unchecked, this tendency can make them appear unreliable, even though their intentions are good. How Gemini wins: channel sparkle into structure, bullet points, brief agendas, and clear next steps. Your words lead best when they land. Gemini thrives when they discipline their brilliance into frameworks that others can follow. Bullet points help ground their endless flow of ideas. Brief agendas keep meetings on track. Clear next steps turn inspiration into action. This doesn't mean suppressing their sparkle, it means channeling it into formats that help others stay aligned. When Gemini harnesses their communication skills with intentional structure, they become unstoppable leaders. They retain their charisma and creativity while giving people the clarity they crave. Gemini wins not by slowing down their mind, but by building a bridge between their rapid-fire thought process and the team's need for order. When their ideas are not just heard but acted upon, Gemini's leadership shifts from inspiring to transformative. Cancer, June 21st to July 22nd. Leader level, medium, the protector. Cancer embodies a style of leadership that is deeply human, rooted in care, empathy, and protection. While other signs might lead by force, authority, or charisma, Cancer leads by creating a safe environment where people can grow and thrive. Their leadership is often underestimated because it doesn't shout, it nurtures. But think about the most productive teams. They are almost always those where people feel supported, valued, and secure. Cancer understands this instinctively. As a cardinal water sign, Cancer has the initiative to step up when needed, combined with the emotional depth to sense what others need even before they say it. Their leadership feels personal, and that's what makes it powerful. They don't just care about the project, they care about the people. This makes them the kind of leader who earns long-term loyalty. People follow Cancer because they know their leader will protect them, advocate for them, and create conditions where they can risk failure without fear of ridicule. Why? Cancer is cardinal water. They lead by caring, creating safety so people take risks. Water represents emotions, intuition, and sensitivity, while cardinal energy represents initiation and action. Cancer combines these to lead through emotional initiative. They don't just sense what people feel, they act on it. This makes them adept at building environments where people feel included and valued. In a workplace, this might look like Cancer stepping in to shield their team from unnecessary pressure, or noticing when someone is quietly struggling and offering support. Ever noticed that teams do their best work when they feel seen? That's Cancer's magic. They create a sense of belonging that boosts morale and productivity alike. And this isn't weakness, it's strategy. People who feel emotionally safe are more creative, more willing to take risks, and more committed to the group's success. Cancer knows this without needing a business manual, it's in their nature. Their leadership often shines brightest during transitions or crises, when people need reassurance that everything will be okay. Cancer provides that assurance, and in doing so, empowers others to keep moving forward. Signature move, emotional intelligence. They notice the room, and lift it. Emotional intelligence is Cancer's superpower. They read body language, tone, and unspoken dynamics with uncanny accuracy. If tension rises, they feel it first. If morale drops, they sense it before it shows. This allows them to intervene with compassion, humor, or encouragement at exactly the right moment. Leadership through emotional intelligence doesn't always look dramatic, but it has profound impact. A team that feels seen and supported is far more resilient. Cancer's ability to notice the room also allows them to anticipate conflicts before they explode. They might diffuse a situation with a private conversation, or offer praise when someone quietly needs it. By lifting the energy of the room, Cancer ensures the group functions not just efficiently but harmoniously. And because people feel genuinely cared for, they give back loyalty and effort in return. Blind spot: taking things personally, or avoiding tough calls to preserve harmony. Cancer's deep empathy can sometimes become over-attachment. They may internalize criticism, even when it's not directed at them personally. Or, in their desire to keep harmony, they may avoid making tough leadership decisions, like giving critical feedback or letting go of someone who isn't contributing. This can create problems when a team needs firm direction but Cancer is trying to spare feelings. Their sensitivity, while a strength, can also make them vulnerable to burnout if they absorb too much of other people's emotions. The blind spot for Cancer is remembering that leadership sometimes requires hard choices, and those choices can still be made with kindness. How Cancer wins: keep the heart, use the spine. Set boundaries early, and make "kind and clear" your leadership motto. Cancer achieves their best leadership outcomes when they balance empathy with firmness. Keeping the heart means staying true to their natural gift of emotional intelligence and care. Using the spine means remembering that boundaries are not unkind, they are necessary. By setting expectations early and sticking to them, Cancer avoids the trap of overprotecting or enabling. Their motto of "kind and clear" ensures that people feel cared for without ambiguity. Clear communication prevents misunderstandings, while kindness preserves trust. When Cancer leads with both compassion and firmness, they embody one of the most sustainable forms of leadership, one that nurtures growth while holding everyone accountable. Leo, July 23 to August 22. Leader level: high, the luminary. Leo leads with fire in their heart and light in their presence. When you think of someone who naturally walks into a room and changes the atmosphere without even speaking, that's Leo. Their leadership is rooted in inspiration. They embody the idea that leadership is less about telling people what to do and more about making people want to follow. Leos are luminaries because they shine, and in shining, they give others permission to shine, too. They have an innate ability to rally groups, infuse them with purpose, and turn even mundane projects into something that feels like a mission worth fighting for. Leo leadership is magnetic and deeply personal. They don't just manage tasks, they inspire belief. Their high level of leadership potential is tied to their courage, the willingness to stand in the spotlight, take risks publicly, and sometimes fail loudly, all while encouraging others to keep faith. Where some leaders command respect through authority, Leo earns it through presence. Their natural charisma makes them impossible to ignore, and their determination ensures that once they commit, they see things through. Why? Leo is fixed fire. They inspire, rally, and make people believe in the mission. When energy dips, Leo walks in and the lights come back on. The fixed quality makes Leo steady, dependable, and consistent in their leadership style. They don't waver once they've locked onto a vision. The fire element adds passion, creativity, and the spark of vitality. This blend explains why Leo often becomes the engine of a group. They are the ones who say, "We can do this," with such conviction that everyone else believes it, too. Their fire is not fleeting, it burns steadily, sustaining morale over time. When energy dips in a project, when motivation fades, or when morale crumbles, Leo has the gift of restoration. They don't just give pep talks, they embody belief in the mission. People sense that faith and draw energy from it, the way plants lean toward sunlight. Leo leads by showing up, radiating enthusiasm, and reminding everyone why the mission matters. That's why, in both crisis and routine, Leo is often looked to as the one who reignites the spark. Signature move, charisma with courage. They'll stand on stage, take the hit, and cheer the team. Leo's charisma is undeniable, but what elevates it to a leadership strength is their courage. They don't just enjoy attention, they use it as a tool for the greater good. Many people shy away from the spotlight, fearing criticism or failure. Leo steps into it willingly, knowing that by doing so, they shield their team from unnecessary scrutiny. If a project faces backlash, Leo takes the hit and absorbs the spotlight, keeping the group safe from the harshest judgment. At the same time, they celebrate the team with the same loudness they receive applause for themselves. Their natural cheerleading ability is part of what makes them memorable leaders. They will cheer louder than anyone when their team succeeds, ensuring recognition is shared, not hoarded. Charisma without courage can be hollow. Courage without charisma can go unnoticed. Leo combines both, and in doing so, they model leadership that is bold, visible, and uplifting. Blind spot, ego traps, needing applause more than outcomes. For all their gifts, Leo must navigate the shadow side of their leadership, the craving for validation. Applause feels like oxygen to them, and sometimes, they can lose sight of whether the applause is for progress or just performance. This ego trap can cause Leo to prioritize being admired over achieving results. They may resist delegating because they want credit, or they may push their vision without fully listening to others, believing they know best. In extreme cases, Leo might equate leadership with control, forgetting that leadership is about elevating others, not just themselves. The blind spot lies in mistaking the spotlight for the goal, when in truth, the goal is shared success. Without awareness, this can alienate their team, making them feel used rather than valued. How Leo wins: share the spotlight. Give credit loudly and often. When the pride roars together, you don't just lead, you multiply leaders. Leo achieves their highest potential when they transform their natural desire for recognition into a tool for collective empowerment. By deliberately sharing the stage, praising their team with the same passion they receive praise, they create a culture of mutual respect and celebration. The metaphor of the pride is key. A lion is powerful alone, but a pride is unstoppable. Leo wins when they view leadership not as a solo act but as an ensemble performance. Giving credit loudly not only strengthens loyalty but also makes the team feel equally luminous. When the group roars together, Leo doesn't just inspire followers, they cultivate more leaders. That's the true mark of a luminary, not just shining themselves, but igniting others to shine, too. Virgo, August 23rd to September 22nd. Leader level, medium, the architect. Virgo brings a different kind of leadership, quiet, precise, and detail-oriented. They may not crave the spotlight like Leo, but they build the stage, the lights, and the script that makes the show possible. Virgo leadership is about structure and improvement. They see flaws others overlook and opportunities others miss. Unlike signs that lead with grand vision, Virgo leads through process. They believe that big dreams only become reality when broken down into manageable steps. This makes them invaluable in leadership roles that require organization, planning, and problem solving. People trust Virgo leaders because they are competent and thorough. They create systems that last and workflows that reduce chaos. Their medium-level leadership comes not from lack of potential but from their preference for practical impact over glory. Virgo is not always the one in the CEO chair, but they're often the reason the CEO succeeds. They're the architects of order in a world addicted to disorder. Why? Virgo is mutable earth. Systems, details, continuous improvement. Virgo turns big dreams into better workflows. Is efficiency leadership? Ask any startup that finally shipped. Mutable earth combines adaptability with practicality. Virgo can shift and adjust when needed, but always with an eye toward tangible results. They don't just dream of innovation, they implement it. Their gift lies in transforming lofty visions into step-by-step processes that actually work. This is why Virgos are often indispensable leaders in organizations that value precision and delivery. They don't just execute, they refine. Continuous improvement is their mantra. Where others might get comfortable with good enough, Virgo keeps asking, how can this be better? In leadership, this manifests as raising the standards, setting benchmarks, and teaching others to strive for excellence without losing sight of efficiency. Virgos are also natural problem solvers. They don't panic when something breaks. Instead, they analyze, diagnose, and fix. This calm, systematic approach inspires confidence. People follow Virgo not because they're dazzled, but because they trust them to make the right call when it matters. Signature move, precision. They find the 1% that changes the 99%. Virgo's precision is not nitpicking for the sake of criticism, it's a leadership skill. They have an eye for small details that can shift the entire trajectory of a project. In medicine, this might be the diagnosis no one else caught. In business, it might be the inefficiency that saves time and money. In creative fields, it might be the edit that transforms good into great. Virgo's ability to focus on the 1% detail that makes the 99% shine is what makes their leadership so impactful. This precision builds trust, because people know that if Virgo signs off, it's solid. They don't cut corners, and they don't accept mediocrity. Their signature move elevates teams by pushing them to higher standards. It may feel demanding at times, but the results speak for themselves. Virgo leaders don't just deliver, they deliver excellence. Blind spot, perfection paralysis, or nitpicking that drains morale. Virgo's greatest gift can also become their downfall. Their relentless pursuit of perfection can stall progress. They may spend so much time refining a project that deadlines slip, or they may hesitate to launch until everything feels flawless. This perfection paralysis can frustrate teams that prefer speed and iteration. On the interpersonal side, Virgo's attention to detail can sometimes feel like nitpicking. While their intention is improvement, constant critique can demoralize team members, making them feel like nothing is ever good enough. This blind spot can undermine the very productivity Virgo seeks to enhance. Leadership requires knowing when to push for better and when to say, this is good enough to move forward. Without that balance, Virgo risks becoming a bottleneck or alienating their team. How Virgo wins: trade perfect for progress. Frame feedback as upgrades, not errors, and spotlight outcomes, not only flaws. Virgo leads most effectively when they shift their mindset from flaw finding to improvement guiding. By trading perfection for progress, they keep momentum alive while still ensuring quality. Framing feedback as upgrades, rather than mistakes, changes the team dynamic. It makes people feel empowered instead of criticized. By spotlighting outcomes, Virgo helps the group see how their high standards are paying off, reinforcing motivation rather than draining it. This doesn't mean Virgo abandons precision, it means they use it more strategically. The goal isn't flawlessness, it's forward movement with excellence along the way. When Virgo balances their detail orientation with encouragement, they become the kind of leader who quietly builds greatness. They may not always get the loudest applause, but their work speaks volumes, and their teams achieve results that last. Libra, September 23 to October 22. Leader level, medium-high, the diplomat. Libra represents a form of leadership that thrives on balance, fairness, and collaboration. While some leaders push their way to the front with fire and force, Libra leads by ensuring everyone feels seen, heard, and respected. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. In the modern world, where work often requires cross-functional teams and cooperation among very different personalities, Libra's ability to bridge differences is a priceless leadership skill. They are masters at smoothing tension and keeping teams aligned toward a shared mission. Their leadership is medium-high because, although they may not always seize the reins with Aries-like aggression or Capricorn-like authority, they can be incredibly effective in steering a group forward through diplomacy and consensus building. People often underestimate how strategic this really is. A Libra leader knows that when everyone feels invested, progress accelerates. They don't simply aim for harmony for its own sake, they aim for harmony because it creates traction. Their leadership style is both subtle and strong, like a conductor who doesn't play every instrument but ensures the orchestra creates music together. Why? Libra is cardinal air. They bring people together, negotiate fairness, and keep momentum through consensus. In astrology, cardinal signs initiate and create new directions, while air represents intellect, communication, and relationships. This gives Libra the instinct to initiate dialogue and the courage to start conversations that bring people together. Unlike mutable air Gemini, which adapts, Libra uses its cardinal quality to actively shape group dynamics. They initiate fairness, they insist on balance, they introduce new structures that level the playing field. In leadership, this means Libra often becomes the mediator, the one who ensures each person's voice matters, and the negotiator who brokers peace when conflicts erupt. Complex teams, full of egos and competing priorities, thrive under Libra's touch because Libra understands that consensus is not optional, it's strategic. Their leadership is about creating alignment, and in doing so, they keep the group moving forward without constant derailment. They are the sign most likely to say, "Let's find the option where everyone wins," and more often than not, they do. Signature move, harmony with strategy. They read both sides and find the third option. Libra's genius lies in their ability to see multiple perspectives simultaneously. While others argue, either, or, Libra instinctively searches for, and. They take two opposing views, hold them with patience, and then craft a third option that satisfies both. This is not indecision, it's innovation. Their harmony is not about avoiding conflict but about transforming it into progress. For example, in a workplace dispute between creativity and budget, Libra doesn't pick sides. They find a compromise where creativity flourishes within the budget. This strategic harmony builds trust. Teams led by Libra feel reassured that their concerns won't be ignored, even if they're not adopted in full. That reassurance strengthens commitment. Their ability to read both sides and extract the unifying thread makes them leaders who diffuse tension while keeping productivity intact. Blind spot, decision delay. Balancing forever can mean missing the bus. Libra's gift for weighing all sides can also be their downfall. In their quest for fairness, they can hesitate too long, analyzing endlessly instead of acting. This indecision can stall progress, frustrate colleagues, and cause opportunities to pass by. Their fear of upsetting someone or making the wrong call sometimes keeps them from making any call at all. The result? Momentum dies, and the very harmony they value becomes strained. The blind spot for Libra is not lack of vision, it's fear of disruption. They must remember that sometimes a late decision is worse than a slightly imperfect one. By avoiding decisive action, Libra risks appearing weak or ineffective, even though their actual skills are strong. Leadership requires movement, and hesitation can rob them of the influence they naturally possess. How Libra wins: set decision deadlines. Use your signature line. Given the data and input, here's the call. Then stick it. Libra's leadership flourishes when they combine their natural diplomacy with decisive closure. By setting deadlines for decisions, they force themselves to move from analysis to action. Their signature phrase, "Given the data and input, here's the call," shows respect for consensus while signaling finality. This approach satisfies their need for fairness but also provides the clarity that teams crave. Sticking to decisions, even if imperfect, builds credibility. People learn that Libra will listen carefully, weigh input thoroughly, and then deliver a clear direction. This balance of consultation and decisiveness transforms Libra from a skilled diplomat into a respected leader. They win when they realize harmony and firmness are not opposites, they are two halves of the same leadership equation. Scorpio, October 23rd to November 21st. Leader level. High, the strategist. Scorpio embodies leadership that is intense, fearless, and transformative. Where others shrink from crisis or conflict, Scorpio steps in with calm authority. Their leadership is rooted in depth. They don't skim the surface. They dig into the core of problems and find solutions at the root. Scorpio doesn't chase leadership roles for ego. They often prefer to operate with quiet influence, but when circumstances demand strength, people instinctively look to them. Their presence inspires loyalty because they exude confidence and composure under pressure. Scorpio's leadership is high because it combines strategy, emotional depth, and fearlessness. They are the ones who can navigate storms without flinching, and in doing so, they make others feel safe. People follow Scorpio not because they're loud, but because they're unshakable. Their leadership often shows itself most clearly in times of crisis, when clarity, strategy, and resilience are most needed. Why? Scorpio is fixed water. Depth, loyalty, and fearlessness in crisis, they don't flinch. Fixed signs hold steady, and water signs represent emotion, intuition, and transformation. Scorpio blends these into unwavering resolve paired with emotional intelligence. Their loyalty runs deep. They are committed to their people and their mission with unbreakable intensity. When crises hit, Scorpio doesn't panic, they focus. They move through chaos with a strategist's mind, calculating outcomes, considering hidden dynamics, and planning several steps ahead. This ability to remain calm and loyal under pressure is what makes people trust them instinctively. They project a sense that, no matter how high the stakes, they will not abandon ship. And that loyalty inspires others to dig deep, too. While other leaders might bend or collapse, Scorpio remains fixed and steady, the anchor in emotional storms. Their fearlessness doesn't come from arrogance, it comes from depth. They know that transformation requires challenge, and they are unafraid of the dark work it takes to reach light. Signature move, transformation. They take broken systems and rebuild from the root. Scorpio's leadership is not about superficial fixes. They're not interested in temporary patches or quick band-aid solutions. When they see a problem, they go straight to the root cause. They're not afraid to dismantle what isn't working, even if it's uncomfortable, because they know that true progress requires depth. Their signature move is transformation, tearing down what's rotten and rebuilding it stronger. This applies to systems, organizations, and even individuals. A Scorpio leader can walk into a dysfunctional team, identify the underlying issue, be it lack of trust, poor communication, or hidden conflict, and transform it into a stronger, more united group. Their ability to embrace the hard work of deep change makes them unique among leaders. While others settle for surface-level fixes, Scorpio creates long-term transformation that lasts. Blind spot. Holding cards too close or guarding control. Scorpio's intensity and strategic mindset can sometimes slide into secrecy. They may withhold information, thinking it gives them an advantage or protects the team, but this can erode trust. Their instinct to control outcomes can also make them reluctant to delegate, believing no one else can handle the responsibility as well as they can. While this approach may work in the short term, over time it stifles collaboration and breeds suspicion. The blind spot here is not malice but overprotection. Scorpio's desire to guard control often comes from loyalty and fear of failure. But when teams feel left out of the loop, they disengage. Leadership requires transparency, and Scorpio's tendency to hold back can inadvertently weaken the bonds they seek to protect. How Scorpio wins. Share the why behind decisions. Transparency builds trust. Trust gives you the room to transform more. Scorpio becomes their most effective when they pair their natural strategic depth with open communication. Sharing the reasoning behind decisions builds trust, even if the decision is tough. People don't need every detail, but they need to feel included in the process. Explaining the why shows respect for the team and ensures that transformation is embraced rather than resisted. When Scorpio opens their circle of trust, their leadership multiplies. Instead of bearing the full weight alone, they empower others to join the transformation process. Transparency turns their natural authority into shared strength. By trusting others with their vision, Scorpio creates buy-in, making the path to deep change smoother. Their gift of transformation becomes even more powerful when it's carried by many, not guarded by one. Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. Leader level, medium-high, the visionary. Sagittarius leads with vision, with fire in their eyes and optimism in their words. They are the wanderers, philosophers, and truth seekers of the Zodiac, and when they step into leadership, they bring those qualities to every endeavor. Their leadership is medium-high because it shines brightest when there's a horizon to chase or a goal that seems just out of reach. Sagittarians don't shy away from uncertainty. In fact, they thrive in it. They want to expand boundaries, explore possibilities, and take their team places others wouldn't dare to go. This makes them powerful visionaries who inspire by painting vivid pictures of the future. They don't just set goals, they set audacious, daring ones that challenge everyone to stretch. People follow Sagittarius leaders because they infuse hope, possibility, and meaning into the mission. In difficult times, their optimism acts like a lantern in the dark. And while they may not always sweat the details, their gift is reminding everyone why the journey matters. They aren't just leaders, they are storytellers of destiny, keeping spirits alive when the road gets rocky. Why? Sagittarius is mutable fire. They set audacious goals and keep hope alive when the road gets weird. Who else volunteers for the map with dragons on it? Mutable energy is flexible, adaptive, and open to change, while fire represents passion, courage, and inspiration. Combined, this makes Sagittarius leaders who thrive in uncertain, evolving environments. When everyone else hesitates at the unknown, Sagittarius says, "Let's go find out." They aren't afraid of the map with dragons, because to them, dragons are opportunities disguised as dangers. They set bold goals because they believe in growth, in expanding beyond comfort zones, and in discovering truths through action. Their leadership thrives in situations where there are more questions than answers. Rather than being paralyzed by ambiguity, they embrace it as part of the adventure. When challenges arise, Sagittarius keeps hope alive not with blind optimism, but with genuine belief that there is always a path forward. They remind their teams that the unknown is not a wall but a door waiting to be opened. That sense of adventure, coupled with confidence in possibility, makes Sagittarius a natural visionary. Signature move: big picture clarity and contagious optimism. Sagittarius leaders don't get bogged down in the small stuff. Their strength lies in zooming out and reminding people what the mission is really about. They can walk into a room mired in details, arguments, and spreadsheets, and in one sentence, lift everyone back into the bigger picture. Their clarity is not about micromanagement but about perspective. They frame the journey in terms of growth, meaning, and discovery. Paired with this clarity is their optimism, which spreads like wildfire. When Sagittarius speaks about the future, people believe it's possible, not because the path is obvious, but because their conviction is contagious. Their words and energy remind people why they signed up for the mission in the first place. That's their signature move. They realign people with vision and infuse them with enough hope to keep walking, even when the road twists unexpectedly. Blind spot: overpromising, under-anchoring. Inspiration without infrastructure burns out teams. Sagittarius optimism can sometimes run ahead of reality. Their enthusiasm makes them believe everything is possible, which leads to setting timelines or expectations that are overly ambitious. They promise the stars without building the ladder to reach them. Their tendency to focus on vision over logistics can leave their team exhausted or disillusioned when promises don't materialize. Overpromising comes from genuine excitement, not deception, but without grounding, it risks breaking trust. The under-anchoring part is equally challenging. They may neglect the systems, resources, or steps needed to support their big dreams. Teams may love their passion but grow frustrated if they feel the vision is never anchored in actionable plans. The blind spot for Sagittarius is remembering that inspiration alone won't carry people forever. Structure must walk alongside vision. How Sagittarius wins: pair vision with milestones. Hire or partner with a detail person. Dream big, land softly. Sagittarius achieves their leadership potential when they balance their natural optimism with grounded strategy. Pairing vision with milestones ensures that progress is measurable and motivating. Rather than promising a massive leap, they can break the journey into smaller steps, celebrating each as a victory. This keeps their team energized without overloading them. Partnering with a detail-oriented person is also key. Someone who loves logistics, spreadsheets, and timelines. This balance allows Sagittarius to keep dreaming big while ensuring those dreams are supported by action. Dreaming big is their gift. Landing softly ensures those dreams don't crash. When Sagittarius learns to anchor their visions, they become leaders who not only inspire people but also lead them successfully to the destination. Their optimism then transforms from fleeting spark into lasting fire. Capricorn, December 22nd to January 19th. Leader level, high, the builder. Capricorn represents the archetype of long-term leadership. They are the builders, planners, and strategists of the zodiac, with an unparalleled ability to turn ambition into tangible results. Their leadership is high because it combines discipline, persistence, and vision with a pragmatic, grounded approach. While other signs may rush in with fiery passion or idealistic visions, Capricorn understands that real leadership requires building structures that endure. They are patient enough to think in years, not weeks, and disciplined enough to climb step by step toward goals others would abandon. People follow Capricorn because they know they will get results. Their authority often comes naturally. They carry an aura of responsibility, competence, and quiet strength. Capricorn doesn't just lead projects, they build systems, organizations, and even legacies. Their leadership is not about being the loudest in the room but about being the one who takes responsibility and delivers consistently. Why? Capricorn is cardinal earth, planning, discipline, and long-game thinking. They turn ladders into staircases. Cardinal energy initiates, takes charge, and sets direction, while earth grounds everything in practicality, material results, and patience. This combination makes Capricorn a natural builder. They don't see obstacles as stop signs, they see them as problems to be solved. If the ladder isn't strong enough, they turn it into a staircase, ensuring not just one climb but a permanent path for others. Capricorn thrives in leadership because they can see the big picture while staying grounded in reality. They don't just dream of success, they plan for it meticulously, considering resources, risks, and timelines. Their long-game thinking ensures that they don't waste energy on shortcuts or fads. They know success is built step by step, and they are willing to put in the effort. This steadiness is why people often look to Capricorn in times of uncertainty. They don't panic, they strategize. Their cardinal drive ensures they don't just plan, they execute. They create order where others see chaos and transform ladders into staircases everyone can climb. Signature move, execution. They design the plan and stick to it until it works. Capricorn's leadership shines brightest in their ability to get things done. They aren't satisfied with endless brainstorming or half-finished projects, they want results. Their signature move is execution, taking a plan from start to finish with discipline and consistency. They excel at breaking large goals into actionable steps, creating timelines, and holding people accountable. Unlike signs that thrive on inspiration or charisma, Capricorn builds trust by delivering. When they commit, people know the work will get done, not just talked about. Their persistence means they don't abandon projects when they get tough, they adjust and keep going until success is achieved. This reliability makes them highly respected leaders. Teams feel secure under Capricorn's guidance because they know there is a plan and that their leader has the endurance to see it through. Blind spot. Work first, people second can cost loyalty. Capricorn's intense focus on achievement and structure can sometimes make them forget that leadership is not just about tasks, it's about people. Their drive for results can overshadow emotional sensitivity, leading to perceptions of coldness or detachment. They may unintentionally prioritize the mission over the morale, assuming that outcomes will speak for themselves. While this approach can yield results in the short term, it risks burning out their team or creating resentment. The blind spot is not a lack of care. Capricorn often cares deeply, but they may struggle to express it. Their belief in discipline and responsibility can make them expect others to simply endure, forgetting that encouragement and recognition are just as important as results. If unaddressed, this can erode loyalty, making teams feel like cogs in a machine rather than valued contributors. How Capricorn wins: manage the mission and the morale. Build rituals for recognition. People are not spreadsheets, but they do love clarity. Capricorn becomes their best as a leader when they balance their natural focus on structure with intentional care for people. Managing the mission is their strength. Adding morale management elevates it. By creating rituals for recognition, such as celebrating milestones, praising contributions, and checking in personally, they build loyalty and trust. Capricorn's clarity is a gift. When combined with warmth, it creates an unbeatable leadership style. People crave both direction and appreciation. When Capricorn learns to treat their team not only as resources but as human beings with emotions, they transform from efficient managers into inspiring leaders. Their legacy then becomes not just about what they built, but also about the people who built it with them, and who remained loyal because they felt valued along the way. Aquarius, January 20th to February 18th. Leader level, medium-high, the reformer. Aquarius in leadership is like a breath of crisp air in a crowded room. It's refreshing, bold, and a little unpredictable. Their level of leadership ranks medium-high because they don't always crave authority for its own sake, but when they step into it, they have the power to completely shift systems and inspire movements. Aquarians are reformers at heart. They thrive on challenging outdated norms, sparking conversations about what could be, and organizing communities around innovative ideas. They're not the kind of leaders who just tell you what to do. They ask, "Why are we still doing it this way?" and then gather people who believe in a better future. Their leadership doesn't come with the roar of a Leo or the grind of a Capricorn. It comes with a quiet conviction that change is not only possible, it's inevitable. And they're often the ones lighting the path to get there. Why? Aquarius is fixed air. They challenge norms and organize communities around better ideas. Leadership as change management? That's their playground. Fixed energy makes Aquarius persistent, unshakable, and deeply committed to their vision, while air represents intellect, ideas, and communication. Together, this creates a leader who doesn't just think outside the box. They dismantle the box entirely and invite everyone to build something better. They have the stamina to hold on to big-picture ideals while also rallying groups to join in. Aquarians often feel like they're living 5 years ahead of everyone else, and as leaders, they turn that foresight into movements. Change management comes naturally because they're not afraid to disrupt the status quo. In fact, they thrive on it. When others see chaos, Aquarius sees patterns, and when others cling to tradition, Aquarius asks, "What's next?" Signature move. Future-first thinking with a collaborative edge. Aquarius leads by pointing toward the horizon and saying, "This is where we're headed." They are visionaries with one eye firmly fixed on the future. But unlike Sagittarius, who charges ahead solo, Aquarius does this collaboratively. Their genius lies in creating networks, building communities, and making sure everyone feels part of the process. They don't want leadership to be about one person at the top. They want it to be shared. Their signature move is combining progressive ideas with teamwork, making people feel like co-architects of the future. They can walk into a room divided by disagreements and united under a bigger vision that transcends personal conflicts. Their future-first thinking ensures that projects remain relevant, innovative, and ahead of the curve. Blind spot, detachment. Ideas fly, feelings fall. The very airiness that makes Aquarius a visionary can also create distance. They can get so absorbed in concepts, strategies, and ideals that they overlook the human element. To them, ideas are thrilling, but feelings can feel messy or distracting. This detachment may lead others to see them as cold, aloof, or emotionally unavailable. While they genuinely care about humanity on a broad scale, they may struggle with connecting one-on-one or validating the emotions of their team. This blind spot can create tension, as people might feel unseen or unvalued, even while contributing to a great vision. Aquarius risks being the leader who inspires crowds but forgets to check in with the individual standing right beside them. How Aquarius wins: communicate impact in human terms. Keep the innovation, add the intimacy, and watch adoption soar. Aquarius becomes their strongest as a leader when they balance their futuristic mindset with emotional presence. Translating big ideas into human-centered language ensures that people feel included, not just intellectually but emotionally. By remembering that innovation lands best when it touches hearts, not just minds, they create deeper loyalty and commitment. Adding intimacy doesn't mean sacrificing progress, it means anchoring it in real human experience. When Aquarius listens, connects, and frames their vision in terms of its direct impact on people's lives, they become unstoppable. Their brilliance shines not only in innovation but in their ability to make others feel they are part of something transformative. With this balance, they don't just spark movements, they sustain them. Pisces, February 19th to March 20th. Leader level, medium, the empath. Pisces leads from the heart, often without even trying. Their leadership ranks at a medium level because while they may not always seek the spotlight, their presence creates a powerful ripple effect. They are the empaths of the Zodiac, guiding through intuition, compassion, and creativity. Unlike more forceful leaders, Pisces leads gently, showing others that strength can come from softness. In creative industries, healing professions, or any space that requires emotional intelligence, their leadership becomes invaluable. They sense the undercurrents in a room, picking up on what's unspoken, and they use this awareness to guide teams with care. People follow Pisces because they feel understood, supported, and inspired to dream. Their leadership is subtle, but it's deeply impactful. They may not bark orders, but they create environments where people flourish, which in itself is a form of quiet power. Why? Pisces is mutable water. They feel the undercurrent, sense what's unsaid, and lead with compassion. In creative or healing spaces, that's gold. Mutable signs are flexible, adaptive, and responsive, while water is about emotions, intuition, and sensitivity. Pisces combines these qualities into a leadership style that's deeply empathetic and fluid. They can adjust their approach depending on the needs of the moment, always guided by emotional intelligence. They naturally sense what's beneath the surface, whether it's tension in a meeting or an unspoken fear in a team member. This makes them excellent at diffusing conflict and creating a sense of safety. Their compassion ensures people feel valued and seen. In artistic or healing spaces, this ability is golden. They allow others to bring their full selves to the table without fear of judgment. Signature move, imagination. They see possibilities others miss, and invite the room to dream. Pisces leadership thrives on imagination. They don't just accept reality as it is, they envision what it could be. Their gift is inviting others into that vision, encouraging them to dream beyond limitations. Where others see obstacles, Pisces sees creative solutions. Their imagination infuses their leadership with originality, innovation, and inspiration. They are the dream weavers who remind people that there's always another way forward. And because they lead collaboratively, they don't just dream alone, they invite the room to co-create with them. This not only generates fresh ideas but also builds a sense of shared ownership. Blind spot, boundaries blur, priorities drift. Pisces' compassion and flexibility, while strengths, can also be challenges. They may struggle to set clear boundaries, saying yes too often or absorbing others' problems as their own. This can lead to burnout or confusion in teams, where roles and priorities become unclear. Their tendency to drift with the flow can sometimes prevent them from anchoring projects in structure, causing delays or lack of focus. Their blind spot lies in forgetting that leadership also requires firmness, not just empathy. Without boundaries, their generosity can become a weakness, leaving them drained and their team directionless. How Pisces wins: define roles, set time boxes, and ground intuition with simple metrics. Your soft power gets stronger with structure. Pisces reaches their fullest potential as a leader when they pair their natural empathy with practical structure. Defining roles ensures that everyone knows their responsibilities, while time boxes keep projects moving forward. Grounding their intuition with simple metrics doesn't diminish their creativity, it enhances it by giving their visions tangible form. Structure acts as a container for their compassion and imagination, ensuring that their leadership not only inspires but also delivers results. When Pisces masters this balance, they embody the rare ability to lead with both heart and strategy. Their soft power becomes even stronger when paired with clarity, making them leaders who are not only beloved but also deeply effective. So, who's a born leader? If we're talking natural momentum and presence, Aries, Leo, Scorpio, and Capricorn tend to step up first. But what does that actually mean in practice? Aries is the pioneer who charges ahead when no one else dares. Leo is the luminary who commands the room with charisma. Scorpio is the strategist who thrives under pressure. And Capricorn is the builder who turns ambition into lasting results. These four signs naturally embody authority, initiative, and vision. But before we crown them the only leaders of the zodiac, let's pause and widen the lens. John Quincy Adams once said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more and become more, you are a leader." That quote cracks open the truth. Leadership isn't limited to those who love the spotlight, it's about impact. By that measure, every single zodiac sign has its lane to lead. The real question isn't, can you lead? It's, how do you lead best? Quick recap in one breath. Aries lights the fuse. Their fire ignites projects, energizes people, and creates momentum out of thin air. Taurus keeps it steady. They bring patience, reliability, and the grounded pace needed to transform sparks into lasting flames. Gemini connects the dots. They weave conversations, ideas, and networks into a web of progress that others might overlook. Cancer protects the team. They build safe spaces where people dare to grow, knowing someone has their back. Leo rallies the room. They infuse courage, optimism, and confidence into any space they enter. Virgo sharpens the plan. With precision and detail, they transform messy dreams into efficient systems that work. Libra balances the table. They negotiate, harmonize, and ensure everyone's voice is heard while moving things forward. Scorpio transforms the system. They dive deep, find what's broken, and rebuild it stronger than before. Sagittarius expands the horizon. They infuse big-picture vision, adventure, and optimism into projects, reminding everyone why the journey matters. Capricorn builds the ladder. They make long-term goals achievable step by step, turning ambition into structure. Aquarius rewrites the rules. They break barriers, reimagine systems, and invite others into radical new ways of thinking. Pisces heals and imagines. They blend empathy with creativity, showing teams that leadership can be compassionate and deeply inspiring. Which one feels like home, and which one do you want to borrow this week? That's the magic question. Maybe you're naturally bold like Aries but need some Virgo structure to land your ideas. Maybe you're grounded like Taurus but crave a bit of Sagittarius's wild vision. Maybe you're sensitive like Pisces but could borrow a dose of Capricorn's discipline. The beauty of astrology is that leadership isn't about a single crown, it's about a toolkit. Each sign offers a style of guidance, and you can draw from all of them. Your birth chart highlights your defaults, but your growth comes from experimenting with new ways to lead. If this helped you see your strengths in a new way, tap like, subscribe for more astro deep dives, and check the links in the description for extended episodes and socials. Drop your sign in the comments, and tell me your leadership flex.